set it up. Right. Okay, the first one is Gordon Thompson, who sent in 3 haiku. Glinting spiders' webs drift in early year's sunshine. Is snow to follow? The pristine new year, already soiled, going sour, just as last time too. And the last one, because it's National Cabbage Day today. Cabbage is our king. Of all the veggie products, beans now are has-beens.
Oh, well.
And then I've got a poem from Joe Sanders, Jamaican Ebony Tree. My flute. I open the case again and find it safe in green velvet. Stroke the smooth caucus wood, patter my fingers on silver keys, remembering. Useless without a creator to breathe life into it, like the divine wind over the first waters, so that everything is possible and music can escape, bursting out like the tree's orange and yellow blossoms on its low bending branches, or as Aaron's rod in the desert. So that's from Joe Sanders.
Lovely that. Thank you, Peter. Thank you very much. Welcome, Heather. We're going to alter the order somewhat because Sanaya can't stay too long, and she is joining us from Washington. I'm not sure if that's DC or DC?
DC, yeah, it's close to
Washington. DC. Okay.
Where's it close to?
America.
Maryland.
Is it close to California?
Oh God, no. This is in the Eastern time zone. It's 3 p.m. here.
Yes. Okay. You've got a young poet with you as well. That's fantastic.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, Sanaya, if you want to go ahead, we're all listening.
Thank you. So the poem I'm reading is from the book which was released this last year. It is called Refugees in Their Own Country. It's about the India and Pakistan partition. And me and my ancestors come from Sindh. And the background that you see behind me is a very common print work. It's called block printing, which is done on cloth, and it is called ajrak. So I love this background, and it conveniently hides all the mess that is done by this guy behind me. So hence the background stays. The poem I'm going to read is called Sand. At the time of partition, there was a lot of sand, especially in the Sindh area. And this poem is inspired by what my grandfather told me about his mom, because my grandfather also was very young at that time, at the time of partition. Let's read Sand. Every morning she would sweep and sweep and sweep, but tiny particles accumulated yet again, making her sweep in the evening anew. Every day she hoped she wouldn't have to sweep. Every single day she cursed each and every particle as she swept the Nikami sand and prayed for a life where she didn't have to sweep, where she could spend time with her kids, making pakwan, applying henna, or watch them play. Never did she imagine partition would make this silly desire come true, giving her the urgent new dream of returning to a home filled with sand. Thank you. Thank you.
That's lovely. Thank you.
Thank you.
And Mohammed posted a little bit about the context of it as well, while you were reading.
Oh, how nice.
I don't know if you want to say anything, Mohammed. You could. I'll let you have a little verbal spot.
Oh yes, yes. It's one of those topics that are close to our hearts, I suppose. You know, Indian people. I'm from Bangladesh myself, but there's been a lot of exploration of the topic over the years.
Yes.
And our grandparents would know about that time, not us. You know, our grandparents. And it's interesting to connect with something like sand. Very interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay.
And thank you for rearranging the order so I can read in peace without having to look at the time. Thank you so much.
Yes. Okay.
Does Sunanaya have another poem?
I don't really, but I can read one small one if you guys like.
That'd be lovely. Yes,
This one
thank
I
you.
think Mohammed would really connect with.
Right.
This poem is called Brothers. And before partition, I think Hindus and Muslims, they fought together like brothers. And this poem is about that. Brothers, they fought together for their land, for their freedom, hand to hand, shoulder to shoulder. They fought together without worry, without fear, sweat mixed with sweat, blood mixed with blood. They fought together without realizing they will also fight each other. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanaya. Who wrote that? Do we know the author? You. It's very, thank you. It's a lovely poem. Well, not lovely, but you know what I mean. It was very
Yeah,
good
the
poetically.
sentiments are, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Right, we're going to move to Alan now. Alan, are you ready for us?
Yes, I am.
Okay.
This is a sort of post-lockdown poem, in as much as it's the first time I've been out for a day out or a weekend away down to the coast. And I went away with my camera club. It's called Dreamland. An observational poem, really. Park up by the old Lido, then stroll down the winding road to the seafront past the gallery, see the sun dance on the sea. This is the wonky jewel in North Kent's crown. Behind the thin facade, the town is still run down. Through troughs and peaks of poverty, the homeless and the council lads, past the tide of teenage pregnancy, and the ne'er-do-wells and want-to-haves. Check out the produce at the wet fish stall. There are cockles, mussels, scampi. They've got it all. Across the harbour, a bar with a sun-drenched seat. Across the bay, the chug and boom of reggae beats. Children run down the beach to take a dip, past sandcastles, buckets, spades, and kiss-me-quicks. A hen party plays rounders on the beach. Hear them laugh and shout and scream. Poor strip down to their underwear, run into the sea, and let out another scream. Watched by their friends, they're dancing and singing. They shout back, "Look at us, we're wild swimming." Across the sand, another scene as people queue for an ice cream. Japanese girl doesn't realise the hell that as she scatters tatters of bread around. Then she's besieged by gulls as they suddenly descend, flocking to the ground. This creates a photo op for her friend to take. She quickly realises the mistake she's made. She flaps her arms, they take to the air. She winces, but her friend, he doesn't care. On his phone, he's frantically taking more shots. Then the gull's interest turns to her. Now they've scoffed the lot. He laughs, then turns and walks away. She's still waving her arms crazily and screaming. She'll never forget this day. It was like a scene from Alfred Hitchcock's film, The Birds. She shouts at her friend, but he doesn't hear her words. Regardless, he continues on his way as the gulls finally lose interest and take flight again. We made our way back to the car, past coffee shops and sandwich bars, past LGBTQ towels hanging, waiting for the beach, past tall towers of coloured plastic buckets and displays of multicoloured footballs, flanked by a parade of fishing nets. More vintage shops with vintage clothes, in tiny back streets with cobbled roads. Behind run-down Art Deco cinema, alfresco drinkers with tattooed arms add to this wonky jewel's charm. Now day drifts into night in a town that time forgot, watched over by dreamland as it silently rusts and rots. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Alan. Redland and Margate.
It was a fascinating day. Yes, I have
another one for us.
Yeah, I have a short one for you.
Okay.
One of our word poems where we had to fit the words in. It's called Sweet Bird of Mystery. With a voice as sweet as brandy wine, untainted, devoid of sin, as soft and smooth as velvet to penetrate my soul within, to nourish me, to bring thoughts of the moon-spilt milk reflections on a midnight sea, to wash away my pelican awkwardness. Who owns that soft lyrical voice, you sweet bird of mystery? Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you very much. Jane, I can't see your image, but I'm sure if you speak up, you'll come on the screen, I think. Jane? Jane has disappeared.
Jane, you're muted.
I can't see her image on the screen.
I
Is she
see her
muted?
image, but she's
Yeah,
muted.
Yes.
Oh, can you unmute, Jane? She's had a lot of problems with her computer recently, so.
She's talking though, but
Is that better?
Yes, that's it.
Yes.
You're with us now. Thank you.
Honestly, I know. I remember Peter saying it was Valentine's Day on Tuesday, so we could wax lyrical if we wanted with soppy love poems. Is that all right, Mohammed? Yeah, some old ones, some I prepared. This one says, "Talk to me of love. Talk to me of love." And I recall the rainbow you invented to beguile the sun one rainy day. But your rainbow proved, alas, not color fast, and so stained before fading into mist, the patchwork dream I'd weaved around my hopes. Talk to me of love, and you conjure up tropical rain, beating frenziedly upon a hot zinc roof. Those raindrops do cause a quickening in the veins, before I yield to cozy somnolence, when rudely halts the pattering rain, and with it, my pleasant languor down the drain. Talk to me of love, and I'll paint you an illusion, a Dominican night viewed from the porch of a house high on the hill. Magical night, wild almond scented, tinged with coffee blossoms and salt sea spray, extolled by a million stars, flaunting their reflection on a sleepy sea. Mimicked by a masquerade of dancing fireflies, mutely mocking the fool who would possess a Dominican night. And this one says, "Make hay while the sun shines." And this is based on reality. I'm not sure if it's mine, I've forgotten now. But anyway, make hay while the sun shines. By chance we met one summer's day. How long we've got, I cannot say. Suffice that we did meet and found a mutual attraction, with added friendship, which we hope will stand the test of time. Why dwell on rifts, on shapeless dreams, love's cruel stings or bitter disappointments? Let's love and live each precious day, that if tomorrow never comes, at least we know we've had today.
Thank you very much, Jane. Lovely
got a-
poems.
I've
Sorry?
got 4 lines. I'll just read. It's called Love Touch, and I'll
Oh,
stop. Love
fine.
Touch here. Love grew one summer, blossomed through winter, faded in spring, and by late autumn had surrendered its lifeless petals to the winds of change.
Ah,
That's real as well. That was real. That was part of my life.
I felt that. I felt that. Yeah. The first one was so beautifully seductive. Just all the imagery on it. It's lovely poems. Thank you very much, Jane. Beautiful.
Thank you.
You always take us there to the. You take us there to the Caribbean.
Yeah, I know. I do that deliberately.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Gordon, good evening, sir. What have you got for us, please? You need to unmute. That's it.
Right. Okay. Good evening.
Good evening.
Just a short piece, really. When I look at it, it is partially on the theme of love that you're talking about, that other people have been talking about. Like the shadows go away with the day, we admit to the secrets we all knew by developing our own shades of grey, and if privileged, sharing them with you. As we, the jewels on the rope of time, make moves towards achieving all we hope, though maybe dressed in artifice and rhyme, we tease and test in vagaries we grow, expecting all the joys success will bring to mutually recognized designs yet prepared to accept a failure sting in case we have misread the subtle signs, and all that in the end we'll ever know is prolonged, all-consuming, cruel blow.
Wise and beautiful. Thank you. It's very moving, that. Thank you. You got another one for us, Gordon?
Well, if you want me to do another one, I wrote this the other day. I attended a poetry event in Ipswich, it's about 30 miles away from where I live, here in Waltham on the Naze. And I'll read it. I call these things sketch of the day, and they're a kind of diary that has been developing for quite a while now. So it's a sketch of the day, Tuesday, the 7th of February, 23, Ipswich. There was a beggar in the street, in a shawl and speaking weak. As he approached so ghostly, my pity fled, chased by fear. I looked away and hurried on, refusing there to belong. And now a cold and bleak, haunting guilt I wear. And the fear business is actually, I don't know what's happened to my voice at the moment, it's so crackling. But the fear business is quite serious because unfortunately there's quite a lot of stabbings taking place and people are dying in Ipswich, which is quite awful. At the moment, it seems to have become a sort of a real black spot.
Yeah, we get a less tolerant society in some ways. But thank you for that. It's very feeling about how people who are homeless and begging on the streets, and it seems to happen more often now. But thank you for that. Thank you very much, Gordon.
Thank you.
Martin, have you got some for us, please?
Okay, I'm going to read 3. I've been sorting out some of my poems, more recent, and I've printed up some that I hadn't printed before because I've got the printer working. The first 2 are kind of bookends. You'll see what I mean. It's a pair of sonnets, but the first one is On the Threshold, which was written 30th of December 2019. So, within 2 days, a new year, new decade. Will the 20s roar or simply whimper? Experience teaches one that bright hopes fade, so wilder optimism we must temper. Frail, the fabric of this world is frayed. Doomsayers lecture us, the cheerful simper. Who knows which laws now will be obeyed? Can any still resist the subtle tempter? Prognostication's not a proper art for humans. Who can see beyond today? Secret workings of the darker heart defy description. Few are left to pray. Days and years will gradually unfold. Stand up, step forward, and be bold. And the second one was written towards the end of the next year. It's entitled The Wilderness Year, Christmas Eve 2020. Not myself, the Son of God, I fail temptation. So surrender to despair, vent frustration, loud and often rail at loss of freedom, unclear rules, unfair restrictions. Therefore, wading through the slough of despond, no friendly bombs are falling here. What 40 days or 40 years allow for testing Israel, proving our Messiah, should provide support even for me. This great high priest who triumphed in temptation inspires hard-pressed sinners to break free, and so buoyed up by such a great salvation, which his eternal sacrifice has won, continue till my earthly race is run. And an older one from the book, which is actually a rondo. the one book I've managed to publish. Insomnia. All night the wind claws at pains within the mind. What sustains the restless in their endless quest? Each heart's an illegible palimpsest, obscured by guilt and copy stains. A dried leaf with brittle veins, an old memoir and remains. Man's spirit's breath which cannot rest. All night the wind of thought explores the twisting lanes, tears at idleness its soul disdains. Eternity beckons from the west to travellers with their guests all night, the wind. Thank you.
Very nice. Your foresight was admirable about the 2120s and also about trouble in the Middle East as well. So unfortunately,
There are lots of things going on. Yes.
yeah. Okay, Vivian.
Yes, hello.
Hi.
Hi, can everybody hear me?
Beautifully.
Thank you. Well, funnily enough, my poem is around sort of 2020 mainly, because I wrote it at the time of lockdown during the pandemic. I've got another poem as well, but this first one is called Here and Now. Rising food prices don't matter out here, sitting at the top of this hill with you, admiring the view. The rising price of bread doesn't bother me when I'm standing at the top of a hill. The rising price of fuel, not a problem when I'm walking amongst nature. Birds and bees, flowers and trees are in the moment. We can listen. No need to worry about anything else. We can put our problems on the shelf. A walk clears the mind, helps us to see what is important. We can save worry time till later. Walking round the supermarket, pushing our trolleys in circles to find the bargains. It's far from our minds. Let the colours and the sounds of the countryside pervade our thoughts. Soak up the ambience. Hold on to life's simple pleasures for as long as we can. Okay, that was my first one. And my second one is it's a Croydon Poetry Hour poem, when the theme was, strangely enough, poems and poetry. And I wrote a poem on writing poetry. That's literally the title, On Writing Poetry. Writing a poem can be hard or easy, depends upon many things. Subject matter, point of view, whatever makes a line sing. Putting pen to paper, writing it all down. Editing takes ages. Satisfaction never quite found. It's part of being a writer, never quite liking what we see. Though it's down to you, the reader, to decide, is this poem for me? Whether haiku, poem, or sonnet, doesn't matter what form it takes. It all goes down on paper, including the mistakes. But one thing's for sure with us poets, whatever the theme at the start, we'll keep on going right till the end. We always write straight from the heart. Thank you.
Lovely. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
That first one about nature and how it kind of, it's much healthier than worrying about the cost of living, in a sense. And I think you're right. It's that you can't replace a walk in the woods.
No,
A lovely
no.
day.
Nature's got a lot to answer for. It's a great healer, I find. So,
thank you very much. A lot of your
Thank
poems about nature, aren't they, Vivian? You often
a lot
write
of them are. Yes. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Can we move to Mohammed? Good
Yes.
evening, Mohammed.
Good evening. Good evening to everyone. It's good to face you all in the guise of Muhammad, and later briefly in the guise of Borisor. There's this creature called Borisor loose. My first one is about the quake that has killed 40,000 people. So I was reflecting on that, took a couple of poems on that. Hell on earth, no mascot, no game. Cats come again. Trees in dust, broken toys and heaps of gone bodies. No points gained in a grueling match. The scorecard says 0. And then doom. Many days, dust thick after the doom. Survivors number many more than expected. There's a count. Money delayed, lack of supplies. There's crisis. Sad days for the dispossessed. There's death. Corpses number 40,000. That's the crying. Hell on earth. This one is more about paranoia about traffic noises, hearing voices in traffic sounds. Silent roads, the awful sound. The roads fall silent. My right hand finds a soulmate. There was a story salient to be told handy. I did not mind my mind unfolding. When a star shone, tired but a million, then I connected to a mayhem. The bitterness and angst, opposition and criticism from the roads in the sounds of the vehicles. Roar, swish, 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 swish. Their dismissal, my right hand, hit out with a new soul in sight. Right.
Thank you, Mohammed.
Thank you. I was just gonna do a little bit of Boris. Just,
Oh, please do. Yes, yes.
So he's being interviewed by Attenborough. This is Borisor, a rare species full of excrement and cement. He finds it hard to express himself what he meant. Captain Hindsight, he is sure he is not a white balloon to be shot by American guns very soon. Well, Madam Speaker Lindsay, I'll make my comeback by stabbing Sunak and be a heartbreaker. He is of a tortured species. There are more like him, Tories, suffering from ego and pointlessness. I shall unleash my plan to destroy virtually a very slow economy. I've got $1 million. I'll earn more money. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Mohammed. All you need is a blonde wig and you'll be well away with that one.
Yeah, I'm looking for that. I am on the search for that, you know.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
That's great. We're going to move to Jim now.
Hi.
Hi.
The first one is called Requiem for a Friend. Since she died, he's been okay. He does not pine or fade away. No searching for some midnight shrine where moths and beetles multiply. He pretends that life's a game, no fuse is blown within his brain, and he does not sit alone in bars as rain pours down on passing cars. But there's a picture on a wall, a woman by a waterfall, sunlight dancing in her eyes and unaware of her demise. 2 small children hold her hand, and he can fully understand how photographs can ache with love and yearnings he keeps thinking of. His past's a tomb of truth and lies in which the deepest pains confined. The body's made to rot or burn, and ashes and statues will to dust return. But when he talks of toxic pride or hides behind a cynic smile, he thinks about that last embrace which hovers over time and place. He seeks a point where life began, a secret held by wriggling sands. Do atoms know their source of love? As stars look down, the hourglass runs. And the second one is called, it's based on the experience of going to see my mother in a dementia ward. And what I've learned about those kind of places, that faraway look. Every so often I see them, the ghosts of those people I've known, Sometimes they look straight through me, and sometimes their eyes are turned down. But there's never a flicker of recognition, nor the beginnings of some kind of smile. Their minds are directed inwards, and they're living a life that's gone by. Now, I'm not going to specifics. I can't bring these people to life. The past is an unknown country, and nostalgia can cut like a knife. But for those usual self-centered reasons, I wonder if they're thinking of me. For the face can be a mask or a mirror, where you see what your heart wants to see. And what are dreams but cunning deceivers, a mixture of half-truths and lies. So if you see me one day in a sunlit ward, with that faraway look in my eyes, please don't frown if I stare right through you, or ignore your friendly cry. I'll be the ghost of someone you used to know, who's living a life that's gone by. Thank you.
That second one, so it's a powerful poem. Thank you, Jim. Try and follow that. Poor Heather's got to try and follow that one. Hi, Heather.
Hello there. Oh, that was very much a powerful, very, very powerful. Anything about dementia? I heard today that still got Boris Johnson on my mind. Thanks, Mohammed. What's his name? Bruce Willis has been diagnosed, the actor, with dementia. Right, I have two here. One of mine, and one which I came across. Is a British poet born in 1874. Name is Robert W. Service. A cabbage patch, because I got the email saying that it was cabbage. I don't get why we have a cabbage day, but okay. So I thought I'd print it off. Folk ask if I'm alive, most think I'm not, yet gaily I contrive to till my plot. The world its way can go, I little heed, so long as I can grow the grub I need. For though long overdue, the years to me have taught a lesson true, humility. Such better men than I've seen pass on, their payoff when they die, oblivion. And so I mock at fame with books unread, no monument I claim when I am dead, contented as I see my cottage thatch, that my last goal should be a cabbage patch. And this one is one of mine. It's called Home by Tea. For there is only so long in which one can describe a leaf on an autumnal day as it journeys from the branch to its resting place by the sea, or the flutter of a breeze on a kind spring day, warming the heart whilst keeping winter at bay. The songs from a summer dawn or the rhythms of a rolling hill, the glimmer of the moon where it sits atop a lake so still. Pray, brevity is a must for my heart, you see, as my attentions are stubborn and too keen to flee. So in your quest to capture the emotions of me, do ensure I am home in time for tea. That's it.
Thank you very much, Heather. Beautiful, beautifully read as well. I think Robert Service, I think he was an Australian poet, and he was kind of quite well known for writing about sort of ordinary working class things rather than highfalutin stuff. But lovely poems, especially your one. Thank you. Now we're going to go up to Coventry and say hello to John. John, are you ready for us?
Yep, sure. Hang on.
Thank you.
Mute. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yes, we can hear you, yes.
We can't hear you now, you're muted.
He's muted.
You're muted now. Now you're unmuted.
That's it, you're okay
Yes.
now.
Yes, we can hear you.
This is my tribute to whoever it was, Paul Simon, The Sound of Silence. Right, secondly, a short Valentine poem. I'm suffering this heart attack. I'm smitten through and through. I don't think I'll recover, and it's all because of you. Right. Sometime in the last week, I've got one of the family had a baby, and so I've got one or two little things here that are written out to do with anyone who's being born, really, and it's little extracts from the life and legend of I Was Here. I was here the early years. Into the town of Born to Die, 6 pounds heavy and 1 foot high, came I Was Here one buxom day. Looked around and chose to stay. Crawled real slow till learned to walk. Cried all day till learned to talk. After that, yapped a lot, questions mainly, why and what, and folk who'd been around a while answer as best they can, or smile, knowing they've really no idea of the simple things, like why we're here. I Was Here's babyhood. At my beginning, I ruled the world. I lay a tyrant in my cot, and when I cried, my servants came. All hours of day and night they came. I wanted milk, my mother gave. I needed strength, an army stood at my command, my father at its head. Indeed, all was well in the kingdom. I Was Here's first days. Out of the mouth of this babe cometh burps and chortles, wind and wheezes, chuckles, snortles, gasps and sneezes, and regurgitated feasts. On the face of this babe playeth smiles and frowns and wrinkles, rashes, creases, warnings of releases into nappies underneath. I Was Here's education. Arrived one day like a bastard dumped on the steps of a grand hotel. The mat said, welcome. To begin with, everyone was kind. He was taught to sign the register and how to call for service. Allowances were made for his naivety. They showed him how to hold his knife at table. People smiled to make him smile and loved him for his laughter, seeing in him what they had been. Only later, when he learned to read, did he understand the notice pinned upon the door. The management can accept no responsibility.
Thank you very much, John. A lot of humour in that last one. Thank you.
Thank you. Cheers.
About a year ago, you read one of your poems. It's a very beautiful love poem. That's all I can remember about it. But maybe part two.
What, that was a very short one. Loves the cockerel,
Yeah.
can't stop crowing, tells the sun get up and shine, loves the
Yes,
sea,
yes,
sowing,
of
loves
course.
the know. Inside
Yes.
of knowing, I am yours and you are mine.
Yes.
Well,
Do you want to do that? Do you want to do that again? Well, we
Loves
could
a
do it-
cockerel.
Right.
Loves cockerel, can't stop crowing. Tells the sun, get up and shine. Loves the seed that we are sowing. Loves the know. Inside of knowing, I am yours and you are mine.
Wow. Thank you very much, John. I love the animation in that as well. It just
Yes.
rolls off the tongue.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can we move to Anthony now? Good evening, Anthony. You're muted still. Need to press the unmute, Anthony. You're still muted, Anthony. There's a little thing, a microphone maybe or something. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, got you now. Yeah.
Right, I've got two poems I like to read. One's called Volunteering in Israel, and it goes like this. I've been sold plastic gold trinklets by Bedouin children at Beersheba. I've collected eggs from squawking hens under some azure kibbutz sky. I have seen the clarity of a religiously slaved at Meir Sherim, but I've never crossed the green line. I have been to the biblical Safbad, which lit fires at festivals, or scraped my knees at Mount Masada. I've been adopted by two families in Ashkelon, one ostensibly poor, the other deemed rich, but I have never crossed the green line. And the green line is the 1949 UN borders between the West Bank and Golan Heights. Like in North Cyprus, the green line. And this is another poem I've done. It's called Acorn's Fallow. Acorn's fallow, where do squirrels feed? Snowdrops late this year, the season's array. And we still feel the cold as the arcane wind barricades itself against the plummeled fence. Here strange madness begins to find out its roots of dreams amongst the dying trees. And those are my two poems.
Yeah. Can I request the second one, but a little bit slower, Anthony? Would you want to do it slightly slower? There's a lovely poem.
Acorns follow, where do squirrels feed? Snowdrops late this year, the season's array. And still we feel the cold as the arcane wind barricades itself against the plummeled fence. Here a strange madness begins to find out its root of dreams amongst the dying of trees.
Lovely. Thank you very much. Thanks for doing that.
It's better read slower, I think.
Yes,
Yes.
That was inspired by my garden.
There's a lot in your poetry, and that's why I like to hear it properly. You know, it's very nice.
Right.
Jan, are you going to read tonight, or are you going to you want to listen, or?
I'm just going to listen.
Okay, you're very welcome to listen.
Okay.
Okay, which takes us to Peter now, I think.
I'm going to read some translations of Palladius, who was an ancient Greek poet, by Tony Harrison. Death's a debt that everybody owes, and if you'll last the night out, no one knows. Learn your lesson then, and thank your stars for wine and company and all-night bars. Life careers gravewoods at breakneck rate, so drink and love and leave the rest to fate. Loving the rituals that keep men close, nature created means for friends apart. Pen, paper, ink, the alphabet, signs for the distant and disconsolate heart. I was promised a horse, but what I got instead was a tail with a horse hung from it, almost dead. And finally, The Murderer and Serapis. A murderer spread his palliasse beneath a rotten wall, and in his dream came Serapis and warned him it would fall. Jump for your life, wretch, and be quick. One more second and you're dead. He jumped and tons of crumbling brick came crashing on his bed. The murderer gasped with relief. He thanked the gods above. It was his innocent belief they'd saved him out of love. But once again came Serapis in the middle of the night, and once more uttered prophecies that set the matter right. Don't think the gods have let you go and connive at homicide. We've spared you that quick crushing so we can get you crucified.
Thank you, Peter. Well, it is Easter.
Yes,
Coming up shortly. Yeah. Right. Thank you very much. Now we're going to move to Ted. Ted, where are you? I've seen you somewhere. Ted. I'm sure Ted's here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down at the bottom.
Got me?
Yeah, got you now.
Okay, good. Evening, everyone.
Evening.
Here we
Evening.
go. Jackpot rant number 3. I phoned the number in the letter 0901, several others too. Listened to music, not my choice, until a mechanical voice told me I had a multiple selection of numbers to press on my handset, depending on the stars I had scratched off the card. I pressed 5 and was again diverted to a man who asserted that if I gave him full addresses of my banks and their sort codes, he would send my chosen prizes, regardless of their shapes and sizes, to my home address. And to ensure they were not misdirected, could I tell him when I was at home? He was most concerned, as he didn't want to miss me. Or would I prefer to collect my gifts at a winners' meeting in a grand hotel? Quite far from me, Lanarkshire is quite away from Kent. A bit too far, but I nearly went. I'm waiting still, I've no regrets. The bank is looking to how I'm overdrawn, and the telephone bill is a little more than I usually get. They have not cut me off yet. Coincidence, I suspect, that my house was robbed when I was out. But the police expect to find the louse eventually, if they ever pull their finger out. I love it when everyone's muted. I can't hear a word. It's like doing poetry to yourself. This is for George. I love you, angular nature that shows no kindness nor mercy to the timid or weak. Your spiteful beauty gives refuge to the small, yet one sting recoils a brave inquiry. I love you, carpet valleys, green and stained, secret lanes and tracks that twist and jump, then double back, laughing at their wit. Hills that strain and ache to meet their height. I love you, mysterious embankments reflecting chalk ghosts in night mist, the silver birch glowing in the dark and dappled by day. Oh, why did nature cheat one so elegant as you? I love you, hedgerows with frightened hair and arrogant trees that shed their clothes in defiance of winter. The ignorant leaf that dances in headlights, pirouettes and dies. I love you, badger, red fox, how you forage and scamper ageless runs regardless of the roads. The furtive owl that fakes a passive role surreptitious overhead. I love you, rainwater, streaming and gushing, flowing down roads, washing all that precedes you. How you shape your own channels and find your home. I love you, single dandelion, who breaks the concrete slab and reminds the non-believer you have persistence that we will never know. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for reading, Ted.
Right.
You're equally at home in town or country, or a mixture of
Oh,
both.
yeah, how nice.
Yes.
I can get back to me polo now. Right.
Very good.
Hang on.
Right, it's come round to me, folks, and then we've got the tea break after that.
Hey.
Yeah, very good. Okay, like the salmon. Suppose, like the salmon, I determined to find my way back to my place of birth.
Yeah.
Waiting for the rivers to be in full spate, waiting to be borne to shore on high tides, deciding which branches led to my river. Suppose, like the salmon, I struggled to my last breath to leap up waterfalls, to swim against the battering current, drawn on by some predetermined pathway, struggling back towards my origins. Suppose, like the salmon, I would not relent, drawn on by the need to recreate others in my image, in my place, with my fascination, to return to what I was, to be who I am. What an achievement. And though it cost my life, who is there to mourn a tired old salmon? And then there's another one here. This is called Hearts of Oak. I was an oak tree upon the land, hewn down by a human hand, and a mind that must have reasoned my timbers would be better seasoned. With skill, trunk and branches were dissected into planks and beams, then resurrected. Long nails were hammered through my brain, the pain I endured to live again. Mallet, saw, plane and drill changed my shape, formed my keel. Glass and tar, rope, cordage, paint, pitch, pine and powder lent their taint. At last all saw what I was meant to be, a mighty warship on the sea. For many years I roared my thunder, blasting brother trees asunder. Over far-flung seas flew my Union Jack, though some crew would not come back. When my holy stone decks flowed red, or storm or fever left them for dead, my timber suffered blast and worm, leaving me enfeebled in my turn. Towed out to sea in a setting sun, my voyage to the deep then begun. I now rest beneath turquoise waves, part of the seabed to end my days. Far from forest, tall and green, I think of what I was, of the world I've seen, and I ask myself, what was it for, that my gentle nature was used for war? Okay, that's the end of that one. And it's coffee time, everybody, or tea time.
Are we ready to start again?
Thought I liked the queue, but anyway. So this one's called What Do I Fancy? What do I fancy? What is my mood? Is it rock or is it blues? Or do I fancy something trippy, reminding me of when I was a hippie? I cast my eye along the spine, searching for some musical surprise. I pull one out, I put it back. I'm not ready for a sonic attack. Maybe a little bump and grind, or something quiet and sublime. Maybe a bit of Afro-Celt. I pull another from the shelf. I remember this one well. Those heady days, the patchouli smell. But this is not what I feel I need. I need something to get my spirit free. To find the right thing can be hard. Let's look for something avant-garde or a singer with a gravel voice. But today that's just a raucous noise. I'm getting closer as I slide down the alphabet, but I've not found what I'm looking for yet. So I go back to the beginning. I've spotted something, now I'm grinning. Yes, this is exactly what I need. This will get my spirit free. Out of its sleeve, slid in the slot, turned up loud, it begins to rock. A reminder of back in the day. Then my wife cries out, "Oh, not that again." Thank you. And this is called Out of the Blue. The sun shines brightly as sheep-like clouds graze the sapphire sky. They make merriment, flocking and dispersing on the gusts of the breeze. Across the dales, the distant town spire reaches to pierce the sky above the horizon. The tourist removes the postcard from the rack to purchase their memento. The card's bucolic summer landscape, a replica of today's view. Someone else's photograph memory purchased for friends to see. Other postcards remain on their rotating carousel, waiting for other tourists, waiting to represent their summer's day. Thank you.
Thank you, Alan. Very good. You got another one for us? We've got loads of time because there's not many of us.
How many?
Oh, I don't know, about 8
7.
now, I think. 7.
Right.
Well,
This
11.
11. Yeah, this one's another short one. It's called Opposites Attract. Hot and cold, sweet and sour, he would loom and she would cower. Good and evil, bad and nice. He was cheap, she paid the price. She was timid, he was feisty. This would happen daily, nightly. Push and shove, he pressed on. Hate and love, she wants him gone. She tasted sweet, like angel's breath, as he delivered her kiss of death.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Wow. Yeah, domestic violence, not funny, is it? Thank you for that, Alan. Jane. Jane, she's muted.
Yes, I'm here. I'm here.
Right,
Yes.
lovely.
I'm still on the theme of Valentine's Day. I wrote this for my friend Agnes. She told me she'd never received a Valentine's card in her life. So we used to be on a walking group together. So I wrote this for her. Memories for Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is almost gone. No chocolates, no cards, no flowers for Agnes. But does she sit down and weep? Lie prostrate and wail? Hell no. With the thickest, richest slice of carrot cake from Stratford's indoor market, she curls up beneath her duvet and tucks in. The first bite doesn't disappoint. It melts upon the tongue, lifting her on the crest of an oceanic wave. The taste of nutmeg, cinnamon, and ginger of the second bite evokes one of those splendid crimson sunsets lingering over Grand Bay every evening at 6 p.m. precisely. By the time she's polished off the last crumb, she's right there with her mum in the carnival band, clutching the protective hand, gingerly swaying. Eyes now tied shut, she is whisked to a place where, spellbound, she listened to tales by moonlight of tricksters, Brer Rabbit and the Nancy, up to no good as usual. Thus sated and soothed, she falls asleep that Valentine's afternoon to the hypnotic rhythms of tropical rain. Casting off her light clothing, she dips her toes in the crystal waters of River Montine, there to bathe and bask once again in the sun-drenched, skinny-dipping innocence of childhood. And this one's called Cupid's Bow. Once in a while, something stumbles uninvited onto the canvas of your consciousness. Once in a while, needle-sharp tingles vibrate past your inner landscape, shattering the serenity you had so carefully cradled there. Once in a while, you sense a gazing into your soul, a disturbing, bittersweet intrusion. Once in every while, such a phantom does appear to stoke up the embers of your imagination, of your imaginings, causing its dimly remembered heartbeat to quicken and resound. Once in a while, this intruder will catch you unawares as you inhale his aphrodisiac charms. Once in a while, when it duly drifts your way, pure panic may ensue. As confidence craving in, you quiver in your solitude, secretly savoring the despair of an ugly duckling in the presence of a prince of swans. Once in a while, amid the hazy mergings of fantasy with harsh reality, it's small comfort, yet still comforting to know that Cupid, for all his cross-eyed clumsiness, may aim in your direction, if only for a while, once in every while.
Serendipity of love's arrow. Very nice.
There's hope for all of us.
Well, yeah. Okay, we're going to move on now to Gordon.
Right.
Right.
This is a slightly different aspect of the same thing. At the cocktail party, I overheard him telling how his parts had started swelling, turning talk to water tablets. Surprising how a topic grows Soon the subject overflows and travels to Viagra Falls. So that's one piece, and this, of course, is to finish on a darker note. I call this piece "In the Dark." It could be actually the first line of the poem, even the title, "In the Dark." Just dreaming, and then I woke up shouting and screaming. So stealthy, the nightmare. Was it the groceries, something I'd eaten, or something I could put right overnight? If they win, will they make peace with the Russian and keep us warm with delight? Will they kill poets who tell us the light?
Yeah, very thought-provoking, that one. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah, there's an honesty about poetry, I think. Sometimes it just says things how they are. Thank you for that, Gordon.
Thank you very much.
Martin, you ready? You're muted, Martin.
Not anymore, I'm not.
Right.
Yeah, I've a couple here. At least. This is another relatively recent poem, a Beethoven enigma. As an epigraph in German, muss es ein, es muss ein, which being interpreted means, must it be? It must be. And it was written at the top of the autograph copy of the last movement of his last string quartet, Opus 135, his last work. So this is the poem, it's a sonnet. Ah, Ludwig, how can we truly know you? Such a complex character, a modern euphemism. Although so much would vex you, quickly stir your ire. Friends were tolerant or left. Chaotic life, poor health, anxiety and debts. But oh, the music, subtle, deft, at stirring human depths. Fertility of inspiration. What was it that must be? Your tragic deafness, gaucherie, failed love affairs? Never the toast of society. One final mystery remains. 2 centuries after your demise, do your works hold the key beyond surmise? And another fairly recent one. This is Daffodil Close-Up. 2 tender stems at first appear within a slender vase, their buds tight closed, though spring is near, immune to human cares. Tap water only are they fed, but every day they swell, though exiled from the flower bed where their fellows dwell. From many thousand cultivars, these were blindly chosen, some species imitating stars, surviving still when frozen. At last they opened splendidly, much like their wild cousins, but static, never dancing free, just as one buys in dozens. A 6-lobed perianth, so pale and imitating primrose, with golden central crown, I hail as those which nature sows. What Wordsworth's famous poem describes, with Dorothy's suggestions, evokes what every heart imbibes, of wonder mixed with questions. And in honor of what we've just heard about serving at the checkout in Tesco's, I'm going to read one of my supermarket elegies, which will be the title of a book if I ever get it published. At least that was the plan. So this is Supermarket Elegies, number 6, checkout. This shop replaces those production lines in closed, decaying factories. These hands so quickly pass them, artichokes to wines, along with scripted patter, which still lands upon indifferent ears. They see my name, but soon forget, like those forgotten brands of yesterday. New package, though the same inside. I read people as machines, codes. Still, my degree won't register. No fame accrues from my efficiency. Each loads his trolley differently, some with great care, while others throw things in. On bends in roads, their shopping never turns, and everywhere things roll around the floor. We serve them all, a litany of types. We do not stare at strange attire or ways. So we recall too little of our shift, but scan our wares just like a kind of frantic shopper's ball. These metric feet have weights and mime slow airs. Thank you.
3 very good poems there. Thank you, Martin. I especially like the daffodil one. It really reached me. It was very beautiful. Very beautiful poem. I'm going to make you read that. I'm going to start requesting that now, I'm afraid. So I'm going to pour the tea from the future.
I'll keep it handy.
Yes, thank you. Mohammed. Where's Mohammed gone?
Hello.
Hi.
What ho? Yes.
What ho, Jeeves? What ho, Jeeves?
Pip pip. Okay. This one I wrote on Burns Night. I was inspired to write a few like his poems. This one is slightly inspired by some of that style. A fool and his money are easily parted. A fool is a fool in any old school, and he's never one to continue the fun. His money and he do not go along merrily. Soon he's on the run, his troubles having begun. A fool and his money are soon parted, sonny, and many a laugh we, for Boris is silly. A foolish one is just, a raspberry we trust, and in his hands notes and coins never stay to dote. A fool plans not how to spend his lot, and stands a gaping, penniless, his sense escaping. Thank you. And I was at the Poetry Library a couple of days back, and I got something by Langston Hughes and Ted Hughes, but I'm not going to read Ted Hughes. I'm going to read Langston Hughes. This is a short one by him. Sun Song. Sun and softness, sun and the beaten hardness of the earth, sun and the song of all the sun stars gathered together. Dark ones of Africa, I bring you my songs to sing on the Georgia roads. Right, and I end with the poem of the day for 17th February. From Read Me Aloud Poems. A winter song. When will the winter end, mother? When the grizzly's had its rest. When will the grizzly wake, mother? When the eider builds its nest. When will the eider build, mother? When the tundra starts to move. When will the moving start, mother? When the snow falls out of love. When will the snowfall stop, mother? When it finds new southern friends. When will these friends be found, mother? When the freezing winter ends. Thank you.
Thanks, Mohammed.
You're welcome.
Langston Hughes is a wonderful poet. He's one of the Harlem poets, American Harlem poets. One I particularly like is I Have Known Rivers. He writes about rivers and he takes you all the way to the Nile, to Africa, back to America. Wonderful poet. Wonderful poet.
Yeah, great poet.
Now we're coming on to, where are we? Heather. Okay, Heather. You're still muted, Heather. That's it.
Here now. Just a question to Mohammed. The one, the mother poem, but did you write that or was that by somebody else?
No, it's not by me. It's from this anthology, Read Me Out Loud. And I'll just give you the name of the poet quickly. It's, I'll tell you. It is Linda Lee Welch.
Never heard.
Yeah,
okay, I love that one. That was a wonderful one.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I have 3 of my own. 2 haikus and just a very small one. So I'll read the 2 haikus first. The first haiku is Paradise Unlost. Can this thing be lost when a wall of utter peace safeguards its silence? And the next one is called Tagline. It's not a haiku, so it's just a very short poem. Tagline. In heaven, no one can hear me squeal and dance with immense relief and pleasure at having left life's lures all behind. And the poem is called Paperback Musings. Something elegantly artful when turning a papered page, followed by the slow closing of it before shutting off the bedroom light. A ritualized ritual which no storytelling audio can mimic, compete, or even comply. For when closing this paperback dreaming, it resembles the curtains closing, signaling the ending of yet another day. No tablet, no Kindle can ever say that it shares the same capability to serve in this way. That's it.
Beautiful rhythm to your words there. It's lovely. Lots of alliteration and it just rolls along. Yeah. Listen to that all day. John, ready for you now, please.
Unmuted. Okay, this is a very short post 6th of August 1945. Our birth sign is nothing special. It is more common now than all the old astrology. We are all born under the sign of the mushroom. Second one is it's a sort of love poem that was obviously written before mobile phones became popular. The distance between us is not so far. There's only, oh, wait a minute. I should have asked the question, what number bus is this in South London? See if anyone can tell me what the number of the bus is. The distance between us is not so far. There's only Herne Hill, Brixton, Clapham, Wandsworth, Putney, Richmond, and Hounslow between this hand and yours, and I know a bus that takes me to your place. The distance between your voice and mine is not so far. It's only twopence, 7 numbers, and a phone, and I'm learning your code as fast as I can. At times, you seem so close, it's not this biro, but your hand I'm holding as we write our lives together. And finally, to that shop, it's going to be a sonnet. And it's a sonnet that, what's the word for a poem where you take the first letter in each line and read it downwards?
It's acrostic.
Acrostic. Okay, this is an acrostic. Okay, I'll see if you can work out what in fact is what the first letters would make. So I will stop for a fraction at the end of each line. So but each line's got 10 beats to it. It's a sonnet. Okay. Writing this sonnet has been a pleasure. I spent hours changing and rechanging lines so each one sounds correct, for every line must have exactly 10 syllables. You may appreciate that this has meant other conventions, for example, the use of rhyming schemes, clever rhythms, and many other tricks I used to believe absolutely essential have gone. I'm revising my views on what's important. Read what I'm writing carefully, and you shall discover, locked in these words, a message. It's just a simple question which evokes the easy answer, no or yes.
Will you marry me? Is that it?
Yep.
Oh, wow. Oh, brilliant. Could you hold it closer? Could you bring it closer?
I can, but
Could
it,
you
it, it goes, oh, well, all right. Sorry, yes.
I'd never.
Will, yeah, it's all there.
Okay. All right. Okay. Right. Thank you, Mohammed. I'd never heard of that word before, so I will look into it. Thank you.
That's what you call that's what you call a decent proposal.
It's a clever one.
I've always said no 3 times.
Was the bus the X22 by any chance?
Good try, getting close.
I was thinking
higher.
35. I was thinking
26.
35.
Higher,
X26.
No, I don't know it.
higher than 35.
All right,
Not a
Bruce
lot higher
Forsyth. Doing
Not
your
a lot
broad
higher
Bruce
than
Forsyth
35.
there. Higher, lower.
The 37 bus route from Peckham.
Oh, 37. All right. I was going from
37,
Croydon.
37.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. Oh, well. Nice try.
Just between you, me, and the gatepost, that is actually how I proposed to my wife 50 years
Right.
ago. Almost
Wow.
50 years ago. I actually, and she looked at it and she didn't get it.
You didn't change your mind then?
You didn't call it all off because she doesn't understand poetry then.
Well, fair enough. Yeah. After that, there was a sonic boom, wasn't there?
You have to forgive Martin. He gets into his pun syndrome sometimes. Mode.
Good to hear.
Quite
Good to
good,
hear.
though.
Yeah.
Anthony, are you ready?
Yeah,
Will you
I've
play
got
for us,
2
please?
poems, but they're rather experimental. I can't believe I've written them. The crap, it's called Odette's Admission. The crouch grass has withered for winter's charge. I make no apology. Milkwood so loftily summoned as I venture forth. A prompt reminder into the celestial wilderness. Time is running out. The lunar moon indicates even the sky can be shrouded through the thick line. And then the final one is, it was inspired, I'll tell you who it was inspired by. It was inspired by the Buffalo poem by Nathan Whiting. And it's called I Pity Them. It goes like this. There's always the earth making its treats, the splendor that rises spreading all around. The wind plays with the light as I hear the birds, the small rivulet adjoins the ready river. Today I begin anew. I drink my nectars blazing over with you. It is 4 a.m. where the angels and devils jockey each other for ascendancy. I pity them. Hexazonial snowflakes pour over me. I'm in a quandary. I write myself over. I am no longer afraid. Let the people carry on the best they can behind closed doors. And the final one is, it's a sonnet number 1. How do I compare to thee? Your intransigence knows no bounds. I gesticulate more than often than not. Your red patterned dress. Your yes is a no. Your darndest to know. You're like a Newfoundland leeching unreason. You're everyone's bosom except mine. You turn me into a wilderness. I do not know my heart. I am left speechless. On the morning of your coming, you leave me dumb confounded.
You are a very good poet, Anthony.
Right. Thank you.
Very, very good. I mean, even the moon can be clouded by the thick line. There's a kind of Japanese haiku-ish quality to some of your poetry. So where you put ideas and words together, it's very good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. It's just experimental poetry.
Mm.
I'm writing for the sake of it, really. I try to write 3 poems a day.
Right. That's the way to do it. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, excellent.
I try
And we
to
come
write 3
round
poems a
to
year.
yes. We're coming round to Peter now.
I'm going to read a couple of poems by Leigh Hunt, who was a early to mid 19th century poet and essayist, friend of Byron, Shelley. He was the champion of Keats. He knew Dickens, he knew everybody. So anyway, this one is Rondo. Jenny kissed me when we met, jumping from the chair she sat in. Time, you thief who love to get sweets into your list, put that in. Say I'm weary, say I'm sad, say that health and wealth have missed me. Say I'm growing old, but add, Jenny kissed me. He also collected famous people's hair. We had a collection of hair from all ages, and it's on a lock of Milton's hair. It lies before me there, and my own breath stirs its thin outer threads, as though beside the living head I stood in honoured pride, talking of lovely things that conquer death. Perhaps he pressed it once, or underneath ran his fine fingers, when he leant blank-eyed and saw in fancy Adam and his bride with their rich locks, or his own Delphic wreath. There seems a love in hair, though it be dead. It is the gentlest, yet the strongest thread of our frail plant, a blossom from the tree surviving the proud trunk, as though it said, patience and gentleness is power. In me, behold, affectionate eternity.
Well read, Peter. Thank you.
And can I just read this
yes,
one?
Yes, please. Yeah.
This is a translation from, I think, the Greek. Greek pretenders to philosophy described. Lofty brow flourishers, nose in beard wallowers, bag and beard nourishers, dish and all swallowers, old cloak investitors, barefoot look fashioners, night private feast eaters, craft lucubrationacers, youth cheaters, word catchers, vain glory philosophers, such as such seekers of virtue, philosophers.
Well done, Peter. That was quite a tongue twister.
Yes, I got some of them wrong, but anyway.
Well, you did pretty good. It was quite a challenge. Now, for Ted, you got anything for us, please?
I'm on.
Yeah.
Having spent 2 years doing philosophy, Peter, I think that's pretty accurate. All to prove that everything's nothing. Fishing heritage.
Hey.
It was a journey into unknown lives of fishermen trawling the sea. Men with big hands, gnarled, pulling in nets, screaming with freezing water on tons of fish. Or worse, none. Men living in still rooms with doors riveted with bolts to hold back the sea, all crisscross painted and covered in grime, overpainted and covered in more grime. The forecastle with a lucky bunk backing the galley, where, scalded, cook and a boy load bread slabs and tea onto plates boxed in for the toss. The engine vibration glistens the grease on the mills, and everything is tainted with fish. From a dungeon, slim stokers feed coal boilers. The ashman, roasted and frozen all day, crashes his bucket overboard, heaving the strain of his chain. The sparks eavesdrops on codes, discovering who's on the fish, spying for low pay and retainers, and sharing the company's profits. Good work on a fine day, gutting fish and needling repairs to nets. But in widow's weather, when the black frost hangs higher than the masthead, shrouding like Neptune's hair, frostbite cuts deep into blue hands and feet and faces. Axes clatter the bulkhead, chopping down ice, and men's blood runs free with the salt as they slither and grab to work. Days without sleep bleed into weeks without time. Fish is paid with men's lives, and you don't ask its price, quayside. When wives weather watch, waiting, all dreading the rap on their door of the port missioner, a shoulder to cry on, his news of a deep unknown grave and a future frozen at zero.
Brilliant, Ted.
Horrible, isn't it?
Got another one for us?
Yeah. Now this is about one of my boys who got himself a job at H&B. John, this is for you. I'm going to change the title. It's called Customer Service, The Lament of John. Yes, I work here. All of us wearing H&B shirts work here. No, M&S is up the road. Yes, I'm on the till, this till. No, the one behind me is not operating. There is no operator. No, I don't know how long you have been waiting. There will be no operator. The till is out of order. Yes, you still have to queue up. Yes, in this queue. Ah, you want to lose weight. You're like our diet plans. Oh, you don't want to diet. There's our training supplements. You don't want to work out, but that's how you lose weight, sir. Is that in the sale? Was it on the sale shelves with the other dried fruits? No, sunflower seeds are not dried fruit. The nuts, sir? Over there, sir, under the sign that says nuts. On the wall, covered in nuts. Yes, over there, sir. No, the magazine is not free, it's £1. Yes, even if you spend £50, it's still £1. I'm sorry, but the sunflower seeds are only £3.50. Look beside the words price. £1. Yes, sir. I might sound aggressive, but I'm never stupid.
As they say up north, there's nuts up there as folk.
Yeah.
Thank you, Ted.
I've just worked out that was Holland and Barrett, not Harrison Bailey.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Sunflower seeds. Yeah, give it away, Ted. Very
No,
well.
they're useful. They're good at Harrison Bailey.
Right.
That's
I'm
it.
sorry about that. I have to go now. I'm being tormented. All right.
Okay, Gordon. Nice to see you. And
Nice to
hopefully
see
keep
you,
in touch.
Gordon.
Take care.
Time.
See you next
Thank you
month.
very much. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. This next poem is, you know, I wrote that one about the Georgian Navy, about the old sailing ship, and Robin Pilcher, who I admire a great deal as a poet, he said that reminds me of one of mine. So he sent it to me, and he's given me permission to read it tonight.
Oh, lovely.
And I'll have to do it in two voices because the beginning and the end are like a description of a place. In the middle comes the sailor's comment. So I'll try and go deeper for that bit, okay? Right, so it's called Trafalgar Cemetery, Gibraltar. Neatly railed and signposted, it seemed a modest space, so much pain and agony buried in one place. For such as these, no mighty plinths in London, but instead this corner of a semi-foreign field. England expected. So you faced expectoriating guns, hurling gobs of iron by the ton. Adrenaline lifted us beyond the bounds of pain, of fear, into the uplands, drugged with blood and powder sheer, an exaltation of destruction, hoping in the corner of our consciousness that when the reckoning came, it would be clear, a coup de grace, a hasty marriage to the seas. But it was not to be. They brought us to the rock, and so we died on land at least. So we died on land at least, slowly, each breath a breath nearer death. And when that last breath came, all things considered, it felt good to go, safe now from chain shot, grape shot, splintered hearts of oak. We lie, tread softly, for you tread upon our bones. The breeze mourns gently through the trees, while down the road the tourists queue for fish and chips and duty frees.
Yeah.
So that's Gibraltar, where apparently there's a naval burial ground. One of the things we did in our little group was a challenge to write a prose poem. And this is
what is prose?
Prose poem is it doesn't rhyme. It's you're using other devices to make it poetic, and it's quite difficult to do. So you're using common everyday expressions, for example. You might sneak in there. Anyway, this is my effort, a prose poem. It's called Beneath a Once Blue Sky, Across Once Golden Fields. Under the radar, the drones come on in mindless, heartless forays, harbingers of the worst of days. The sad skies streaked with somber smoke trails of missiles and anti-missiles. Yet an arrow shaft will not always hit its target. It's as if we've returned to blunt instruments that will lay their anguish across humanity, the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker, the nurse, the mother, the child. The target is wild. Blocks of flats flatten like houses of cards in man-made earthquakes. More tanks limber up for more destruction. More cannon fodder without interruption. The mesmeric clock of war ticks on month after bloodletting month, with the far-off culprits never feeling the cost of war. If there is a delay, a small hiccup in the tick of the relentless clock, it is only to stock the war larder with more bombs, with more fresh candidates for death who are to be released into the works of unhinged carnage. Who is there to scream stop, to scrape up the bodies left to rot, to unsalt this land of Salem's lot? Why do we let history recreate itself under the radar? Anyway, that's that. That's my prose poem. We can all unmute now. That was very enjoyable, everybody.